Yo, Infolitas, welcome back to another video. I'm glad that you guys liked the last video of me ranking albums. A lot of people said it was a pretty entertaining video, so I appreciate it. You know, we're just trying out this little YouTube thing just before school and everything like that because, you know, it's fun and it's something that I'm passionate about, talking about music. So before we get into the video, make sure you guys like and subscribe and add the Snapchat info_lit. So without a further ado, let's get into the video. So today we're going to see who's really winning in 2025. And those artists are Playboi Carti, Yeat, Juice WRLD, Hollis Nettspend, X. So the first rapper fan base, we have Nettspend. Now Nettspend is obviously a growing artist in the sphere of music. He's tiptoeing the line from being, you know, just a regular artist in the underground, but also being like really big and like a mainstream artist. With Nettspend, it's just kind of a curious case because he's a really good artist for the fans, but like anyone outside of his fan base, everyone does not like him. And that's not even just because like that's rude or anything, that's literally just facts. Like if you listen to Nettspend and you are not a fan of his music, you most likely will not like it. So that whole fan base will kind of just come off as being annoying because it's like if only you guys like the music and no one else can turn it on and actually just enjoy it, it's like, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like Nettspend's one of those curious cases where if you play that music around anybody who is not an underground fan or knows about it, it's just gonna sound horrible. And for the fans themselves, sometimes they are just ride or die for no reason, and it's just insane. Obviously it's respectable for someone to be able to build that, but it almost kind of seems like a fake loyalty. It's like people are just going to go see him just because he's like a new artist or coming up, and it doesn't really feel like sometimes they're always in it for him. So again, these are all opinion based, but if you like his music or whatever, go enjoy it. But me personally, I don't, and I kind of do find the fan base a little bit annoying, so I give them a 5.5 out of 10. Next rapper on the list, Hollis. Now these two actually get compared a lot, kind of why I put them back to back. But Hollis, I don't really know his music like that. I know I've heard a couple of songs, but his fan base I've seen on TikTok and Instagram are absolutely insane over him. They call him the finest dude in the world. He's tall, he's got aura, I guess, and you know, his fans absolutely eat that shit up. It is insane how they ride or die for him. And you know, I mean, he makes a different type of, you know, sound music, he's kind of bringing back the hyper pop from like 2021, but like adding some sauce, and you know, it's cool and stuff like that, but not my style. And you even have people like Kanye listen to his music and stuff like that, so you already know after that everyone's gonna be going crazy, even if Kanye isn't even like that anymore. But you know, it's just kind of crazy to see how people just absolutely eat up all of his music and like everything he does. But at the same time, it's kind of like the same story for him and Nettspend a little bit. Some people are just being on him just because he's the next wave or he's new or whatever like that. And you know, it's cool, you can have that, but sometimes that doesn't last. And obviously from the peak months of 2025, you obviously can see he has not like been on as much, and you can see like the slower decline. And you know, that's always going to happen as an artist. You're going to have highs and lows and stuff like that, but it's just kind of crazy to see how much he's fallen from where he was at, you know what I'm saying? And it's not even that he's fallen. If you have a bag, you have a bag. Like if you are rich or you have money, you can't really fall off, but in the public eye and the public viewing, you can, I guess. But I mean, if you have money and stuff like that, did you really fall off? But to see where his fan base was at and to see where it's at right now, obviously he went crazy in shows, he does all of that, you know what I'm saying? And people eat that music up. I'd say it's a little bit better than Nettspend, you know what I'm saying? So I give it around a 6.2. Next rapper on the list, we have got X. Now the X fan base is really difficult sometimes to gauge because you have one side who listens to his music for him and was the OG, including myself. Now I'm not super OG, I wasn't 2015 2016 X, I was 7 years old, you know what I'm saying, 8 years old. But early 2018, late 2017, I started really kind of hearing his music a lot, and that was like kind of when he was blowing up a little bit. So I would say around like November 2017 is when I started hearing around what X and who he was and stuff like that, and that was kind of when he was starting to blow up anyways, even more. In that sense, that fan base is really good, you know what I'm saying? X had a crazy fan base when he was alive, especially for what he was doing, what he was pushing. He was going to be the craziest artist by far. Same thing with, you know, Juice WRLD, who we'll get into later in the video. But X, man, he had a crazy fan base when he was alive. So I'm gonna say when he was alive, Fanbase was realistically top out there, 9 out of 10s. After and moving into now, especially with the what's a father meme, oh my god, that was so bad, and it really kind of tarnished him a little bit, even if it was for like a little month or two, whatever memes were back in like April and stuff like that. But dude, it was bad. And then out of nowhere, people just started respecting him again, and it's just kind of crazy to see the switch that X has. Like, people will either hate him for a little bit or love him alive or dead. It's crazy how he can just have people flip this switch on him, you know? So for that case, I give him a really high rating. I give it an 8 out of 10. But for the people who are ruining it and making all sad compilation edits, man, that's a 3 out of 10. Like, we get it, you're sad, you're depressed, whatever. Listen to the music because that's what he was there for, you know? He was there to help you, but don't post about it, man. If it's really real, I get it, you want people, but like, if you need real help with that stuff or whatever, talk to people who you care about, not just posting it on Instagram or TikTok. So that side of the fan base kind of brings it down a little bit, so I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Next artist on the list, very similar to X, we have Juice. Now it's kind of a similar case because, you know, after Juice died, I mean, he was already super huge, one of the biggest artists I think in the world before he passed, and he still continued to do that even after he passed. But when he was alive and stuff like that, man, that was a crazy time. I was really like one of those people who used to watch Lyrical Lemonade videos, like music videos and stuff like that, and I remember seeing the Juice WRLD music video like when it first like popped up, when it first had like a mil or two, and I watched the Cuff Boy reacts videos to that stuff. Man, those were some fire times. So Juice's fan base when he was alive was up there with X, man. 8, 9 out of 10, top tier, maybe even 10 out of 10. Those vibes were crazy. But after he passed and stuff like that, that whole 2020 2021 wave of just people, you know, hopping on and stuff like that was kind of like, it wasn't as bad. I feel like Juice kind of made it more fun. In that case, I would give the fan base before he passed, same with it, like X, like 9 out of 10s for sure. I give the fan base around a 7-8 because a lot of Juice WRLD fans that I've came across, of some of them are like 20 years old, you know what I'm saying, like older mature people. But for the people who do bring down the Juice fan base and are just like little kids, you know, trying to act depressed, you know, there's nothing wrong with listening to his music if you're a little kid and you're just enjoying it. But if you're trying to act depressed and act like you're going through stuff and you're really not, that really does bring it down. But overall, I give it a 7-8. Next artist on the list, a newer artist, not super new, but Yeat, man. Yeat's fan base, if you are a Yeat fan, you only think Yeat is insane and you only listen to Yeat and you're just Yeat. You know, his music was really good when it first came out just because it was kind of different. I still don't get the Carti comprehensive like shit that people give him. He does not sound like Carti to me at all. His sound and voice and mixing does not really sound like Carti at all. Yeat's fan base, man, when it was first coming out, it was, you know, pretty cool. There wasn't a whole lot about him. He was kind of more of those like mysterious artists. But when he dropped the one album with the skeleton on it, I forgot what it was called, that hype before that album was absolutely insane. All over my TikTok for 4 days straight was nothing but Yeat, and it got so annoying. Yeat's music is cool for what it was, but now and stuff like that, I feel like Yeat's kind of getting carried more by his personality than his actual music. Like, people are actually finding out more who he is as a person, and he's definitely a cool dude. Like, I've seen all the videos, he's a hella cool person, but musically and everything like that, he didn't really kind of captivate it ever since then. So I give him around like a 7 out of 10 for the fan base. For the Yeat stans who absolutely just do anything for Yeat, that shit is just corny, man. Last artist on the list, last but not least, of course we saved it for the end of the video, the biggest artist currently, Playboy Carti, man. The most talked about, the most watched. Obviously we're talking about him right now. That's how you know he's popular, man. Carti's fan base is absolutely insane because I used to be one of those people who absolutely glazed anything Carti did. Anything moving, walking, Carti was absolutely gold, you know. Then I grew up and I started making my own music and I started realizing, man, he's not really that great. Not a great dude. He's not a great person. He doesn't, I mean, he cares about his fans, but I guarantee if the money wasn't coming in, he wouldn't care as much as he says he does. And for me, that always just drags it down, because the fan base is going absolutely insane over a guy that doesn't show his face, that barely does anything. Obviously now he's posting hella, which then proves that he was just being mysterious for no reason. And it's just like, I don't know. So the fan base itself and actual strength in the Carti circle, 8, 9 out of 10. But for the outside people looking in, it's really not terrible, because I get it. You know, I get where everyone's coming from, because I was on that. And all these rappers I've been fans of, not Nettspend and Too Hollis, but all of it I can get like where everyone comes from. I give the Carti fan base around a 7, 5 out of 10 when it comes to just overall everything, because they keep his name relevant. He doesn't really do a whole lot to keep himself relevant. You know, they glaze all of his music. You know, they say that he's insane, this, that, and the other, which does get annoying, but it's not as annoying sometimes as people like Yeat or Nettspend or Too Hollis, because Carti's done a lot to kind of prove that. He's had insane projects to prove that with Dialect, you know what I'm saying, and self-titled, even Whole Lot of Red. You know, he's made a lot of crazy projects that people just absolutely eat up. So in that sense, I give him around a 7, 5 out of 10. That was my comprehensive review over fan bases ranked and who is really winning in 2025, man. Obviously, we're going to do hopefully an updated video after this in some point in the future, and see if my rankings change and see where these artists rank in the next year or whatever, or however long. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and, you know, do all that good stuff, and follow the Instagram and add the snap and everything like that. We will catch you guys in the next one.